This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection and Rising Suns, the award-winning brewery here in Cork. Hi everybody, this is Pat here from the Smashing Skull Sessions and welcome to the final episode of 2023 of the Review Room, and thankfully guys we got all four of us attending. So Rich B, Rich M, Tim, thanks for coming on lads.
How you doing?
Hello.
Right, so this show we all agreed it's very hard to pick albums of the year, so we're going to go with 12 essential albums of 2023. I think we're all happy with that tag, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do like a tag, don't we?
We love a tag. We like to put things in boxes.
So look, I'm going to kick it off. We'll all do one track each. We go around in clockwise, I suppose, whatever way it works out here. So look, I'm going to go the very first album for me of 2023, has to be an essential album for everybody, is Úkryt. They're from Australia, atmospheric black metal band, and we'll have a quick chat about it. I'll just play it there first. So there you have it, lads. Track number one of our 12 essential albums. That is Úkryt from Australia, atmospheric black metal, released in February 2024. And I suppose the reason I picked this is just the absolute power, lads, that's in this when it opens up. Like that first opening riff, it's a slow start, but when the first riff comes in, the power, lads, I hadn't been that excited about an opening few minutes of any track or album since Tierna's Lose Yourself to Find Peace. I think they're sort of on a par when this came in. Just when you think it can't build anymore, there's another layer on top of another layer, then it breaks down and it just does it all over again over two tracks, 16, 17 minutes each. These celestial sort of sounds and airs hovering over it throughout the whole album just sucks you in. Like it's just flawless as far as I'm concerned. It's a 10 out of 10. Even has sort of some 70s Pink Floyd vibes at times as well. The dreamy psychedelic stuff. So yeah, this track had to be in the top 12, I think. So that's why I had to make sure it was one of my three. But I have a feeling Tim may have squeezed this in too. Am I right, Tim?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably my album of the year. So I bought it, of course.
Excellent.
A two-man band, and it feels like they're with 10 people in there. Instrumental.
Yeah.
Also very important to say. I think there is a lot of atmospheric black metal in it, but also a lot of post-metal, post-rock passages. Yeah. So yeah, it's very impressive. I came across it just by seeing the artwork. I love black and white artwork, and I thought, okay, I have to listen to that. And the music was fantastic. So yeah,
mad, isn't it? How artwork determines whether you listen to something or not. It does happen though.
Yeah, I find a lot of good new bands just by artwork, and then I'm interested in.
Just very briefly too, yeah. When I go through Bandcamp, you know the way Bandcamp is set up, lads, and you can scroll through and you see the artwork of the albums.
Yeah,
I do make decisions based on what I visually take in from that.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
I think a bad cover can make you not pick something up because it's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think a brilliant cover can make you go, oh, I'll give that a listen. But I think there's stuff in the middle, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But the extremes, definitely.
Yeah. So lads, look again. This, I think Tim agrees. This had to be in the top 12 for me and for Tim.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it, lads, but look, it's there. It's our first track.
Well, I'm definitely going to check it out. It's not something I'm not a band I'm familiar with. Have they released stuff before this, or is this their debut?
Well, this is the first I've heard of them. Have you heard from them before, Tim?
No, that's the first time I heard.
Yeah.
I think
I knew nothing about them until this year when that dropped.
It's the second album, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Tim, as you're talking, look, we're going to go to next, I think, for one of your tracks, if you don't mind.
Yes, that's good. Do you
want to introduce this?
Do you put it on or?
I'll do, yeah, do you want to introduce it there, Tim? And we'll...
Oh, yeah, we want to introduce it.
If you don't mind.
We're such a professional outfit this evening, aren't we? It's all going brilliant.
If they only knew what was going on in the background before this started. What's the first track you want us to play, Tim, of your three?
The Unbeholden.
I should say this. I can see the artwork there is, yeah. Phantom Winter, lads.
Phantom Winter.
Fantastic.
German band, fourth album. Her Cold Materials, it's called.
Great stuff.
And they play Winter Doom, as they call it themselves.
Nice.
So it's doomy with a lot of stuff happening in there. Two singers that scream at each other, and
let's give it a listen, Tim Boy. Let's give it a listen.
Yes, give it a spin.
Die ich mit allen Mitteln loswerden musste, außerhalb ihrer Wirklichkeit zu bestehen. Der Zorn würde später kommen.
Right, so there you have it, lad. That is track number 2. That's, album number 2. I keep saying track. Album number 2. That's Phantom Winter. Tim, give us a few reasons why you picked this bad boy.
Yeah, I'm following this band from the beginning. First, you had Omega Massive, a German band. They split up, and when two bands came out of that, Cranial, great band also, and two members formed Phantom Winter. And this is the fourth album. Saw them 2 times live, and it's very impressive, very extreme heavy. Yeah, and I really love this album in the whole package. Like you can see it in the artwork. The artwork is painted by it's drawn by the singer.
Okay.
And yeah, it really fits the songs. So it's a coming of age horror tale based on. Oh, I have to look it up. Based on the novel by Philip Pullman.
Okay.
His Dark Materials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a concept album. Yeah, 6 songs, very different, very extreme, very.
The
Yeah,
vocal
very
arrangement is nice in it, Tim, isn't it? The vocals, how they
the
switch
vocals.
is
Yeah,
nice.
from extreme to clean and
Yeah.
some sampling and yeah. So it's this is my. It was a Úkryt or a Phantom winner for my album of the year, so it's very close. So
So luckily you got two of them in anyway. You got to see two of them.
yeah, exactly. So I'm happy.
Yeah, no, it is a great album. I thoroughly enjoyed it too. Since you actually reviewed this as well, Tim, didn't you?
Yeah.
During the year, and I remember listening to that time. Yeah, loved it too. Loved the atmosphere of it. Atmospheric to the last. Atmospheric doom metal. It is beautiful. Anyone else give it a listen yet?
I've not, if I'm honest, no.
No. Well, lads, it's in our top 12, so be sure to give it a chance. So that's the second track of 12 essential albums, or 23. That is Tim's first choice, Phantom Winter, and the album is called again, Tim?
Her Cold Materials. Yep.
Excellent. Go check them out, lads. Check out their Bandcamp page and give them all the support you can. Right. Album number 3. Let's go to you, Rich B.
It's an album, is it? Not a track?
An album this time.
Hey, excellent. Okay. Sorry, just being a twat. So, Den of Celestial Birds. I think they were one of the first bands that I brought to the review room after the release of their album, The Night Is for Dreamers. I think there was a 4 running track before the album came out. These guys hail from Leeds. They're a 5-piece. I think a lot of them have been in previous Leeds bands, more sort of in the metal arena. And this much more is in sort of the post-rock, post-metal genre. The album came out on the 11th of August on a Cheery Wave Records and also a Thousand Arms Music Elsewhere. Came out right before Rich and I saw a absolutely spectacular performance from them at ATG, which went down such a storm. They've been invited back next year for the Wednesday night. So yeah, the track I've picked is the last one on the album, one of 8 tracks, and it's called I Love You, But It's Killing Me.
Excellent. Let's give it a blast.
Mother and I are separated.
Right, so there you have it, guys. Den of Celestial Birds. What more can we say, Rich? Do you want to add to what you've already said about these guys?
Yeah, I think unlike a lot of post-rock bands who stand and play, when we saw them live, they put so much energy into it. They blew everyone away. I mean, the tent was packed, so obviously they made an impression through either social media or the album's recent release. Because I know a couple of the guys are pretty active on all the post-rock boards on Facebook. And they put so much energy and so much into their performance. It was almost as if their lives depended on it.
Yeah.
A bit like Caspian. They did remind me of Caspian, not as much in sound, but just in terms of, playing as if their lives depended on it. And I think that's what appeals to me the most, listening to the record as well, because they put so much into the arrangement, the production, sampling, the crescendos. You know, when they climax, they properly climax, which we all enjoy, obviously. And it's
can't beat a good climax, huh?
Yeah, you can't beat a good climax, and just that energy is just really, really infectious. I'm trying to concentrate. So it just comes across. That comes across really well on the album. Comes across possibly not the right term to use, considering talking about climax. Lads,
we apologise.
It's nearly Christmas. It's nearly Christmas. But I mean, there's some ambient moments, and even the ambient moments are full of tension. It's just waiting for something to explode, or some crazy man start talking over the top of it. No, you did that. I kept a straight face on that bit. It's definitely my favourite post-rock album of the year by some distance. I would say that much.
The energy they bring is something incredible, Rich, isn't it? I know you saw them at ATG. I saw them last year at a half day in London through Celestial Diadem.
Yeah,
which they're doing again this January.
I saw that. That lineup is something else, isn't it?
It is fantastic. It is fantastic.
LOE are playing as well, aren't they?
They're headlining it now, with Mountainscape and a few others. It's going to be incredible. But even then, before that album came out, obviously, they played, and I just said, fuck it. We have something special with these guys.
Definitely.
And as I said, I know Andy Gill through social media, as you said, he's quite active, always pushing the band. You can tell the energy and the drive they have. So I think they deserve everything that's happened to them in 2024. It's been a huge year for them. Or 23, sorry. It's been a huge year for them.
I was hoping it might get fetched over to Dunk, actually. Sorry, Rich. But, I mean, that might still come, because Dunk have only just started announcing bands, haven't they?
I'm still hopeful that will happen too,
Yeah.
I saw them at ATG, as you say, Rich, and I really enjoyed them. They wouldn't normally necessarily be what I would class as a band type of music I'd rush to see, but they had an edge to them that I really enjoyed, and that edge is there on the album as well. So for me, it was a good album.
Good album. Yeah. Tim, you have it on vinyl, I'm guessing, there alongside you.
Yeah, and I heard it thanks to Rich. I was completely overwhelmed by it, and I love it. I love the combination of post-rock and post-metal, so the heavier parts in it also.
Yeah.
I love the song about Charles Bukowski. I think my post-rock album of the year also,
There's just nothing you can criticize in this. It's just perfect. Post-rock perfection, I would call this album.
Little bit of an obsession with sex, perhaps, but oh no, sorry, that was us.
That was us, but I'm sure they will laugh when they hear it themselves.
I'm putting that on them.
So thanks, Rich, for that one. That was a great track. Third track in the Essential 12. That's bringing us on to track number 4. Rich Murphy, lead away.
Yeah, it's one of mine. This is Dorothea Cottrell, who was the lead singer of doom metal band Windhand. I was been around a while. And this is her second solo album. The first one was 8 years ago, so it's been a long time coming. And the first one was excellent. So this was heavily anticipated. Nice. The album's Death Folk Country, and the song I picked to play is Harvester.
Fantastic. Let's give it a spin.
She decides what comes and goes.
Right, guys. So there you go. That is our fourth album. And that came from Rich Murphy. Rich, do you want to talk more about Dorothea Cottrell?
Yeah, I think this is one of the rare albums where actually the title reviews the album. Death Folk Country is exactly.
Absolutely.
I think there's some really nice ambient stuff in there. It's got a darkness to it. It can be quite serene in places. It's great musicianship, but I absolutely love her voice in it as well. I think her voice is sort of just sits there and it's haunting to me. It's really rich. It's really clear. It's a great combination, and I just find myself getting lost in the album. It's as good as the first one, and that is as big a compliment as I can give it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I gave it a spin over the last couple of days as well. I love that folky aspect to it. I love that those country undertones. That quavering vocal is just beautiful, isn't it? You could listen to it anywhere, anywhere. There's a bit of
absolutely.
depth
It
and
just
there's a bit of
and you sort of find yourself
oh man.
Yeah.
I looked at, I know it was written somewhere, maybe in the bio, and it said her voice fills the emptiest of canyons. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? You know, when you consider what you're listening to.
That sounds like something you would have written, Pat.
Once upon a time, Rich, I would have managed something like that, yeah.
Very
but yeah, it is incredible. Anyone else on that one?
I'm familiar with Windhand to a certain extent, mainly thanks to Rich, but I was unaware of the fact that there was some solo material. So yeah, I'll certainly check it out, as I will, the full list, because even though I normally take no notice of anything else you three say, when it comes to music, you gotta know what you're talking about. So
fair point.
I'll take that as a compliment, Rich.
Oh, you should, yeah.
Well, there you go. So, guys, that is album number 4 in our 12 essential albums. That is Dorothea Cottrell, Death Folk Country. Rich Murphy, thanks for bringing that one to the table. Nice. It was something new for me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Right. Next track is for myself. Album number 5 for me is what I'm wearing, actually, the t-shirt. Irish band hailing from Belfast. The band is Dowen. It's essentially an EP, but there was no way I was leaving this out. No chance. So let's have a quick listen first. So there you have it. The 5th album, lads, in our 12 essential albums had to be Dowen for me. Nimue. As I said, it probably is an EP, but look, it was just too special to leave out. For me personally, like on a music level, this album brought 2 of the biggest influences I've ever experienced in music in the last 20, 30 years, which would have been the Doom aspect in the early 90s and mid 90s, that British Doom bands like Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride and the likes. And then it brought with it then this whole atmospheric post-black sound, which I got into in the last maybe 8 years, when the St. Petersburg bands like Tierna, Show Me a Dinosaur, Old Hava, when they all came aboard. So it's just 2 worlds colliding, and I'm just sitting in the middle of it, the happiest man ever. This album is incredible. aesthetically, visually, the thing is beautiful. The artwork is incredible. Anais, who plays the drums and sings along with Andy, these guys are just gifted. She's gifted. Her talent is just ridiculous. Harmonies, melancholic undertones, incredible vocal deliveries. Everything is so well crafted, well thought out. And then to bring, I mean, as if that isn't enough, you bring in the likes of Joe Quill then to guest on a track. You know, I mean, that says everything when you see Joe Quill coming and doing that for Dowen, and Dowen asking Joe Quill again, just shows the type of people that these guys are, these artists. You know, they're all incredible. And as well as that, Inés, as I said, who's a drummer, lads, from Dowen, did the artwork for Joe's latest album. So that's just one to know there, which is not a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
So yeah, a 10 out of 10 album, released October 20th through the label These Hands Melt, who are sort of an up and coming label, and they are fantastic, lads. They have some brilliant bands in the roster, and I reckon 2024 is going to be a big year for them as well. Anybody else want to add to Dowen? Nimue?
I agree on you. It's a cool album. Yeah,
good album, great stuff.
Nice.
So there we go. We're already on album number 6, guys. We're going to go to yourself, Tim. What do you want to bring to the table?
A Pregnant Light, and this album is called Capacity for Living. We also reviewed one song a couple of review rooms ago, but it was a different song. It was not on this album. There are 12 tracks on this album, but 10 of them were already released last year.
Yeah.
Each month one song, and now in the beginning of this year, the songs with 2 bonus tracks were remastered and put on this album. Nice. Together. It's only for sale on cassette, but it's sold out, and it's digital, so it's not on LP or CD yet. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, and I came across it by incident. I saw a video clip on Cold Nation, and I thought, "Whoa, what's this?" And
that was it. The rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history.
Let's give it a listen.
Yeah, we go to listen to the song "Too Pure."
Cool. So there you have it, album number 6, lads. A Pregnant Light. Tim, do you want to add to what you've already said about this album?
Yeah, it's Pregnant Light is a one-man band by Damien Master. And what I like about this album is his music. He calls it purple metal, but yeah, it's got black metal influences, heavy metal, post-punk. So there's a lot of aggression in it. You really should listen to the music on Bandcamp and read the lyrics along. So it's very intense, personal. So it's aggression, but also sometimes it's also almost danceable. yeah, I really loved it from start, and still listening it a lot. So definitely in my year list.
That's a good gauge, isn't it, Tim? When you come back to something, you know, if something was released
Yeah.
back in February, March, and you're still listening to it at the end of the year, like it speaks volumes, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought the Rich also knows the band, right? In the review room, you said,
yeah. But I think I almost bought the same track as you and had to change my mind one episode. Yeah, again, everything that Tim said, it's a great album, and I like what he does. It's good music, and it's different, it's varied. Yeah, thoroughly good album.
Absolutely varied, isn't it? There's talk about pigeonholing. We've done it so much this year, but you can't pigeonhole this bad boy.
No,
you have post-hardcore, you've got shoegaze, new wave. There's everything there. You've got post-black, maybe a bit inside or two. It just has everything. And again, Tim, I know again another album that you actually reviewed. Am I right, during the year?
Yeah.
And Damien got on to us, lads, and you know he's messaged us a few times, and he is the nicest fella, the most humble of guys. I mean, he deserves all the respect and all the plaudits there with this album. So kudos to him.
And it's good to see someone who's willing to try and do something that they've not done before and not stick to what they've done because it's worked. Just give something a go.
Exactly. People are afraid to step outside the box at times, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, but this guy isn't. Absolutely, Damien isn't.
No.
So that's album number 6, lads, in our 12 essential albums. Next, we're going to go to Rich Buley. Rich, what's next on their list?
I've got no idea. Is it there will be fireworks next?
There won't be fireworks because you're spot on. Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent. Yeah. So this only came out on the 3rd of November, so I might be suffering from a little bit of recency bias. I'm not sure. It came out on a label which I think might even be the band's own, The Imaginary Kind. It's not a label I'm familiar with, so I'm kind of assuming it might be theirs. And it's a Scottish band, first LP for 10 years. Must admit, knew the name before, kind of associated with post-rock, but never listened to their music. And this record came out with much sort of fanfare and blowing with lots of horns in indie rock circles. So I thought, actually, I'll check it out, and absolutely loved it. It's unusual for what we've been reviewing this year, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But the track that I'm selected is called Holding Back the Dark.
Great stuff. Let's give it a go. So there you have it, guys. That is Rich Buley's album. That's There Will Be Fireworks. Rich, do you want to add any more to what you've already said?
Well, it's not my album. I wish it was, because I wouldn't be sat here chatting to you guys. I'd be off playing around the world. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been a sucker for sort of epic, brooding indie rock for as long as it's existed, really. So going back to sort of the late 80s or even mid 80s with people like Echo and the Bunnymen and the Smiths. Slightly gothic tinge, this isn't, but it's got that kind of wistful, melancholic air to it, which I love. Nice, clean, deep lead vocal. Doesn't necessarily have to be male, often is, to give it that sort of, I don't know, gravitas. And the subject matter is all about sort of, being a young lost man in a settlement or village that they can't get out of. And, there's a lot of stuff that I went through in my teenage years, which made me sort of fall in love with this kind of music. And as I was speaking to you guys off air when it was playing, I think that's why I really like this album. It's not in an area musically that I tend to listen to a lot these days. I found myself, not just in terms of my weight, but also the music that I listen to getting heavier as I get older. So this brought me right back to sort of my teenage years and early 20s, and loved it. It's good songs, really well played, lots of really nice sort of epic soaring guitars, 2 or 3 guitars all sort of chuntering along quite happily. The Scots do this kind of stuff really well. People like Idlewild, Brighton Rabbit, The Twilight Sad, and even Mogwai to a certain extent, when they go all indie rock on occasions, they do it well as well.
When I heard this today, Rich, and I couldn't place a band, and you just dropped it there, thankfully. Idlewild, that came to mind when I listened to this today.
Yeah.
And obviously the Echo and the Bunnymen is all over it, but Idlewild was his vocal tone, I think, was more that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Rich Murphy might well puke in his mum's bin when I mention this word. There's a lot of early Snow Patrol in this as well. Now, early Snow Patrol is actually quite good before they became commercial and quite popular, because it had the darkness. It still has to retain the darkness, no matter how faint it might be. But yeah, so it's right in that area, which was along with, well, actually, I discovered this first, and then shoegaze and goth came second, sort of in the sort of mid to late 80s, early 90s. But it's that kind of eerie, melancholic, powerful indie rock that floats my boat.
It's still a bit uplifting in a way, though, isn't it? But heartwarming. It's nice, even though it's melancholic, like.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just it's you could listen to it in any particular mood, I think, and it will take you in one direction or the other. I think it'll, if you're sad, it will make you sadder, and if you're happy, it will make you happier, I think. So
Fair point.
There you go. I don't expect you guys are particular fans, but I thought I'd bring something different to the table.
No, I do like a bit of indie at times as well. I'm actually sad that you mentioned Snow Patrol. It's after throwing me a small bit. I wish I didn't hear that comparison at all, because it's there. No, I can't take the Snow Patrol. No disrespect to Snow Patrol fans, or they're whatever. It's just not my thing. But yeah, I like this album as well. As you said, Echo and the Bunnyman is all over it. Beautiful indie, velvety vocals. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Right, we're going to move on. So to fucking hell, we're going to move on. So to album number 8 on our top 12 essential albums, and we'll go to you, Rich Murphy.
Yeah, slight change of tone. We're going to another album where we took a track from earlier in the year. This is Distortions by Godthrim. A nice bit of Yorkshire doom. And we're going to listen to the first track, which is As Titans.
Excellent. Right, guys. So there's album number 8 in our 12 essential albums. Rich Murphy, a fucking super call. Tell us some more about this beast of an album.
As we said about a previous album, it's the one I keep going back to.
Uh-huh.
It's the one that keeps appearing on. Oh, I really want to listen to that. It's obviously because it's Hamish Glencross. It's My Dying Bride. It's got Paradise Lost. It's Anathema. It's Pallbearer. It's that whole doom genre. I know we don't like to use boxes, but it's that coming back. It's just a brilliant album. The twin guitar melodies, I love it to bits. I could just keep going, throwing, superlatives at it.
Yes.
It's such it's a beast of an album. It's an absolute beast. And when it kicks in, you just can't help but go, oh yeah, I love this.
Yeah. We did review a track on the review room a couple of months ago, and they must be one of the finest doom metal bands at the moment playing. Take away all the bands that have been returning for 20, 30-year tours and release of albums and all that. This is nice to hear something like this. I know that the My Dying Bride influence is just all over it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because that's where they come from.
That's and from.
Glencross and the drummer as well, Taylor Steele's My Dying Bride.
But they bring something different with the vocals.
The vocals with his wife Catherine singing as well. It to me, it's a really good album, start to finish, and it's the one I keep going back to.
Brilliant. Tim, did you listen to this one yet?
Yeah. Since the review room, the song we did, I listened to the whole album over and over, so I loved it. I love it also. Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to pull out the vinyl.
I was going to say, have you got it on vinyl?
No, sorry, still have to buy it.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I have a couple of other waiting, but
where's your level of commitment?
I love the heavy riffs. That's amazing. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So
it works so well over it. It really does hook you in. It's
yeah. Again, a 10 out of 10 album. Go out through. Great stuff, guys. Thanks so much for that album. Brilliant. That made it into our top 12. To album number 9 of our 12. This is my own choice. This is a band called November Might Be Fine. Came out of the blue for me this year. And let's have a listen and see what you think. Okay, so that is album number 9 of our 12 essential albums, and my God, this album hit me fucking like a ton of bricks this year, guys. It came out of nowhere. November Might Be Fine is the name of the band. They hail from Poland. The album was called All, and it was recorded between 2021 and 2023, and it was released in October of this year. Now, 9 tracks, and not 2 tracks are the same. This album has something different around every corner. It's exciting, melancholic, then it's upbeat. It's just a complete whirlwind of emotions, lads. When you hear it, like it'll all make sense. If you look through the track listing, even, and I'll name out the 9 tracks. They're called Hope, Dream, Sorrow, All, Fear, Grief, None, Truth, and Love. And I tell you, every single track triggers those emotions. It's that thought of this album is so complex and so well thought of. It's amazing. These guys, I've been in touch with them as well there recently, buying their merchandise, and also they are the nicest fellas I've had to deal with. Dealing with merchandise and all that. They were so accommodating, brilliant guys. I don't know how many people know of them. I only found out them through a friend of mine, Jenny, who's always on supporting us through the review room and the Smashes Cause sessions. She's absolutely brilliant, and she just threw this my way and she said, Pat, wait till you hear this. And when she tells me that, I fucking go and do it, and it was incredible. So yeah, November might be fine, lads. Thanks so much for your music, and congratulations on getting in our top 12 essential albums. It's thoroughly deserved. Next, we're going to go to Tim for our 10th album. Tim, what do you want to bring to the table?
Yes, it's a bit different than we are used to, perhaps on this channel. It's a band called Softkill from America, the United States. Mostly post-punk sounds. And the song is called Behind the Ring.
Excellent. Let's have a listen. Okay, there you have it, guys. That is album number 10 already. Softkill. Tim, tell us the reasons behind it and why you brought it to the table.
Yeah, this song is from the album Meta World Peace. It's released this year. This cover.
Yes.
There's the vinyl, of course. Yeah, I was already following this band, or actually this a one-man band by Tobias Grave, but he uses a lot of friends and guest musicians. Following it for a couple of years now. And yeah, I heard this album and it stuck in my brain immediately, and it's only 30 minutes long, eight songs, I think. Yeah. Sorry. Overall, 1980s sound,
yeah,
post-punk, dark wave, but with contemporary sounds also, with sampling, and there's even a song with a rapper on it, hip-hop singer.
You just wanted to say hip-hop, but I got rapper in your head.
Yeah, you got it in my brain, a rap. Yeah, the Evil Pimp called. So and it works. It works. It's catchy as hell. The whole album, I play it over and over, and I sing it along, and it's sing along, but it's also very dark, melancholic. The lyrics are about his past addictions and mental health, so it's very personal, and I think his voice is very also warm and dark, like in the 1980s feeling. So yeah, I love the combinations, and so it's my album go-to album this year. So I love it.
Is this the one you're singing and shouting in the car so as you're driving, Tim, for people who are watching you? Lip
Everywhere,
reader.
in the shower, in the car,
everywhere. Yeah, I just love how it sounds so much like The Cure. I just hear The Cure coming in and out of it, which is so nice to hear. Yeah, it really is. I wasn't a fan of the hip hop track myself. Young Evil Pimp didn't do it for me, but other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed it too. And again, this is another one you reviewed, Tim, isn't it? During the year for the Smashing Skulls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. So there it is, lads. That is already album number 10 from Softkill, and the album title is
Meta World Peace.
Meta World Peace. Thanks, Tim, for bringing that one to the table. Right, Rich Buley, your third album.
Yes.
And you should know which one it is now because it's the last one. Don't be so smart.
It is the last one, so I can suss this out for myself, all by myself. So yeah, this was released on the 23rd of April on Bella Union Records. So I'll give you an indication of what it might sound like. It's a band called Silver Moth, who are a UK project who basically 7 musicians, some quite well known, some not, came together, naffed off to the Outer Hebrides shortly after COVID lockdowns, quite frustrated, kind of went for a bit of a jam session, and in the space of about a week, produced an album, and they called it Black Bay, which was the recording studio they were jamming in. Tell you more about it in a minute. This is the opening track from the album. It's called Henry.
There you go, guys. Album number 11, Silver Moth. Keep going, Rich. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, UK project, 7 members in the band, with probably the most well-known being Stuart Braithwaite, guitarist from Mogwai and obviously founding member. Also, the collective included Evie Vine, who's a fairly well-known female multi-instrumentalist, singer, and also Elizabeth Electra, who's kind of chamber pop artist, vocalist, and also multi-instrumentalist, and then, an accompanying band, all of whom have their own projects beyond this one. So they all decamped to the Outer Hebrides and produced a stunning album of, it's kind of founded in post-rock as you'd expect with Stuart from Mogwai's influence, but it's so much more than that. There's there is a 15-minute post-rock epic that rivals Mogwai Fear Satan or Like Herod in its epicness. If you're familiar with those two relatively famous Mogwai tracks. I think there's only 6 songs on the album, one of which is a pure Gaelic hymn recited by one of the members, I believe. And then you've got some dreamier stuff, a couple of dreamier tracks, which again have got that sort of Mogwai guitar line, that melancholic guitar line, sort of brooding intensity, but without unleashing like Mogwai are known for, allowing the female vocalist to give it that kind of dreamy air. So really like the sort of the shoegaze element that provides, without there's always that threat of things exploding, and they never quite do. So just unfortunately they played live in November about 6 or 7 dates in places that you wouldn't even dream of being on the radar, like Totnes down in Devon, for example, that I know quite well. They sold out very, very quickly, as you would imagine. So hopefully they'll do another tour at some point. But it's an excellent album. As you would imagine, anything that's got a member of Mogwai involved in it would immediately get my attention, because they're probably one of my, if not my favourite band of all time. It's got ambient moments, it's got psychedelic moments, it's got post-rock moments, it's got some chamber pop courtesy of Elizabeth Electra, because that's the kind of stuff. She's released her own album this year, which is worth checking out if you like her vocals. It's a very special record. It's probably my record of the year overall, in terms of, as we are judging it by how often I've gone back to it since its release in April. So
I listened to it for the first time today, Rich, based on your recommendation. It can be heavy, but still very delicate, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And that's the Mogwai element. Mogwai do that to perfection. That type of idea where they can be heavy, but yet there's a delicacy about their sound. I liked what I heard. I'll definitely be all over this. Once the Christmas comes in, I get a few days off and listen to some music.
Good stuff.
Right. Would you believe, lads, we're on album number 12 of our 12 essential albums of 2023. Now, this one might take a week to get through. I'll leave it all in the capable hands of Rich Murphy to tell us more about it. Rich.
So for me, my final selection is Bell Witch, with Future's Shadow Part 1, Clandestine Gate, which is a nice, snappy little 83-minute track. It's actually Part 1. There are intended to be 3 parts, and the idea is that the 3 parts will form a loop that you can play endlessly, so it will be a 4-hour loop of music.
Insane.
But we'll talk about it a bit more in a minute.
Here's 45 seconds worth.
So you can get a thorough idea.
So you can really feel the album, I'll just do the first 45 seconds, actually, will I? It'll just be an organ. There you have it.
I want to talk about the organ. Because presumably that's where the third one's going to end, and it'll just...
It's a fantastic concept. Love the concept. Right, so album number 12, Rich Bell Witch, tell us why you brought this behemoth of an album.
I'd a lot of time listening to their previous album, Mirror Reaper, which is about 6 years And that was another 83-minute album, actually a second shorter than this, which they did deliberately by putting a second of silence into this album.
All the little tinkers.
I know. And
fooling the people, they are fooling the people.
Got you there. What?
I knew this was out.
Hookers. Sorry.
I knew this was out, and I hadn't really listened to it. I hadn't had the time to sit down and do it justice, because it isn't the sort of thing you just pop on in the car or for 5 minutes. You've really got to sit and listen to it. Until we went to see them at Arc Tangent, and just before that, I really sat and listened to it and loved it. Myself and Rich saw them where they played the 40-minute radio edit in the tent, and it was haunting in the tent. It was just fascinating. There wasn't a lot happening, obviously, but you were sort of drawn into it and captivated by the music. It starts with that sort of organ dirge, sitting there, and that's where it's going to end, the whole 4 hour cycle. And you can see what they're trying to do. It's dark, it's brooding, but it's actually quite subtle, and it changes subtly every few minutes. It's got these segments, because otherwise it isn't just the same. There are all these subtle stretches of rhythm, and it contracts again, and it keeps you hooked, and there's something different. I've found myself, since we saw them, every time I'm doing something at home where you're not going to listen to music, it's on. It's what I put on in the background. If I go for a walk somewhere, if I'm out for work and I've got to sit on a train for 2 hours, it's on. It's what I do when there's nothing else happening. And when you sit and listen to it like that, if you go for a walk with it in your headphones, there's so much happening in it. It's a really, really fascinating piece of music.
Yeah, it deserves your undivided attention, Rich, I think, doesn't it? To get through an hour and a half almost of music and understand it, you need time.
You do need time, but I think once you've got it, you can put it on in the background, and it gets into you. It gets into you. I think it's fascinating. It is. The reason it's here is because I've listened to it that much. If you look at the time you spent listening to it, it is the one I've listened to. It's my top track of the year in terms of how many times I've listened to it on my.
Okay. So that's not in terms of the number of minutes that you've listened to it, then, because it would qualify as first after one listen, presumably.
No, it's number of times. So I must have listened to it more than everything else combined.
Exactly, 3 times will do it.
Yeah.
Has anybody else listened to the whole track yet?
No, I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I will. Again, I have a lot to listen to over this Christmas period, but I will be giving it time if I can.
But when the other 2 parts of the album are out, we can have a 4-hour listening party.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a lot of drink knockback at that, I'd say.
Yes, bring the booze, Rich. I might be up for that.
Right, so there we have it, guys. There's our 12 albums done, 12 essential albums of 2023. And just to recap on the bands, because, there's a lot there. As I mentioned, Úkryt, Phantom Winter, Den of Celestial Birds, Dorothea Cottrell, Dowen, A Pregnant Light, There Will Be Fireworks, God Trim, November Might Be Fine, Soft Kill, Silver Moth, and Bellwitch. I mean, talk about diversity, lads, and
nice list.
It is fantastic, really is. Like,
Music, isn't there?
It's what this is all about, isn't it? This all stems from reviewing music from all genres and all places.
Yes,
that roll call there is something special, I think.
Yeah. I think it's definitive in terms of where we're coming from individually as well, which I think was, not deliberate, because we picked our 3 favorite records from this year, but it's good to see the breadth of music that we're bringing to the table, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, we do all sort of have our roots in varied places, and we all have passed through this post-rock world. But again, we still have our other places we go to, and it just goes to show there. I mean, I don't think there's many places you will find an album of the year list or essential album list that'll be as diverse as that. I don't think anyone. Can you?
I don't think so, no.
No.
So well done, us.
Yes, gold star.
Well done, us. Well, I suppose, look, it's not the end of it, because, we want to finish with one or two other items. I want to talk about the most highly anticipated album as of 2024. Have you been looking ahead at all at what's coming, or is there some band that are going to be dropping something that you are impatient?
I've got a couple. If you don't mind me kicking off.
Of course we don't.
One of my favourite post-rock bands is the New Zealand band Jacob. Their last album was 2014. They're not exactly prolific, but they've been recording for at least a couple of years. And my brother, who emigrated, not because he's a Jacob fan, although he was, because that would be commitment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He saw them in Auckland a couple of weeks ago, and they played a couple of new tracks which sound absolutely fantastic. Just what you would expect Jacob to be serving up, on their next album. They deliver in spades. I'll send you the videos, Pat.
Yeah.
I'll send them to all of you. I'll stick them on the group chat, because I love this band, and I'm hoping they have either recorded it already or are going to record and release it next year. So that's one I'm hoping to look forward to. Also, I am looking forward to. And the other one is back to my shoegaze roots, actually. The Belgian band who disappointed me with their last album, because they kind of went a bit electronic. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just a bit too light for me, whereas their first album was just skyscraping guitars and brooding vocals, much in the sort of traditional early 90s shoegaze vein, strong vocalist as well. A band called New Moon. And they've released a couple of tracks. I think the album's out in March. Don't ask me what the album's called, but it's all one word, New Moon. Looking forward to that as well.
Nice. Tim?
Yeah, I think we have the same one of the same, A Swarm of the Sun.
We absolutely do, yeah.
Really looking forward hearing new stuff from these guys.
Yeah.
You can already follow on Instagram. They're in the studio now with all trumpets and horns and all kinds of different instruments. So I'm looking forward to that, and to the new Imperial Wilhelmina.
Nice.
I really love that band also, and so I'm looking forward to that album.
Excellent. Yeah, as you mentioned, The Swarm of the Sun, Tim. The excitement, seeing clips, seeing the band together in the studio, as you said, seeing the instruments they're using. These guys are going to bring something special. You just know it, like. So let's hope I'm not disappointed, but I reckon we won't be. So I can't wait for that. Olhava are releasing something early January, an album. I can't wait to hear that. And I suppose, let's be honest, if these trees could talk, there's rumblings, they're playing festivals. I'm hoping that all means there's new music to accompany their travels. So yeah, I suppose we could name loads, but that's significant.
And for me, apart from A Swarm of the Sun, which I think is anticipated widely,
yes,
I think I've got two that probably aren't going to happen in 2024, but we can but hope. One is Future Shadow Part 2 from Bellwitch, continuing the theme, because I want to put that forever thing together. And the other one is, I wish Winter Sun released Time 2 at some point in their lives.
Okay.
In 9 years in the making. Will it ever happen? We don't know, but maybe 2024 is the year.
Maybe. 9 years. I'm not holding out too much hope here, Rich, I'll be honest. They might wait for the 10th, actually. Yeah, they wait for that 10-year anniversary, will they?
Maybe.
Possibly. Right. Let's go back to this year. Your best live performance of the year. And we start with you, Rich B, again, seeing as you kicked off the first one there. Have you got one?
Yeah, absolutely. I would only have to think about this. It's High Lung at Arctangent.
I'm seconding that.
Yeah. I don't know how you could possibly describe this experience. They're on stage for 90 minutes, and it was not gig, it was theatrical performance with 30 musicians or artists, including dancers, on stage, and it was absolutely mesmerizing. Anyone that's seen I knew nothing of this act prior to the festival, or prior to them being announced for the festival. Art Tangent, and Rich saying, "Oh my God, Heilung are playing. I've always wanted to see Heilung." He told me a little bit about them, but nothing prepared me for what I witnessed in Bristol in August. It was sensational. It was, and I've read lots of live reports, and I recommend that if you're unfamiliar, do the same. Check out some YouTube videos, and you'll just, it's like being at your own pagan ritual, basically. It's just phenomenal. I mean, the crowd reaction at the end, I've never seen a crowd reaction at a festival. There were people in tears, hugging each other. It was, screaming out, crying out for more. It was amazing.
Wow, sounds fascinating.
It doesn't completely steal my thunder, because that was the one I was going to go with as well.
Sorry, mate.
It's all right. I could repeat every word, but the audience reaction at the end wasn't a cheer. It was like a goal celebration at football, and I have never witnessed that at a gig before. It was a roar. You just don't get that. And I can't remember what they said that they had to sign to say they could use. There had to be human nudity, simulated human sacrifice, and they had to be able to use human bones as instruments. It was fascinating. It was riveting. You couldn't take your eyes off it. The drummers at the back, well, we call them drummers, percussionists, who were using all sorts of stuff, just moving for 90 minutes, just beating the instruments, just beating them. It was tribal. It was phenomenal, and not witnessed anything like it ever.
Never to be forgotten. So really, that's not even just in 23.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've both said that when they are playing in Europe, they get the UK, we would fly, virtually anywhere in Europe to go and see that again. It was sensational.
Will it be the same again, though, Rich, do you think?
I don't know. But
was that a moment in time for you too?
I'm prepared to take a risk. Yeah. I was only about 4 pints in, so it wasn't even fueled by beer, my enjoyment. It was because it was day 2. Was it day 2? It was day 2.
Day 2.
Yeah. So we didn't go mad, and it was just wonderful.
Outstanding. Tim, have you a favorite performance of the year?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's, I think, quite the opposite of Heilung. It was a one-man acoustic solo acoustic performance from Patrick Walker, known from his he used to be in Warning, his Doom band, and now also in 40 Watt Sun. And he played a solo acoustic show in Antwerp. And I went there with my best mate, and we booked a hotel, and it was a very intimate setting with a small stage, only 40 people, 50 people, I think, there. There was a small bar with special craft beer, and they had a whole section of vinyl you can browse through. So it is all from music lovers for music lovers, and his voice and the lyrics, and wow, it was goosebumps all over the whole night. It was so intimate and emotional, and we were sitting there on a bar stool, a couple of meters from the stage, and everybody was there in the same atmosphere and the same pace, and so it was amazing. And there was a cool thing that Patrick was talking about walking in the city that day, and he saw posters hanging that Iron Maiden would play next week, and he mentioned that Summer in Time was his most favorite heavy metal album ever. So I shouted, "Play Wasted Years," and he tuned his guitar and he played the whole song.
No way, man! That's crazy. That's crazy.
Everybody was singing along. Yeah, it was a special night, and it was a great performance. Yeah.
Brilliant. I was supposed to see him in Dublin as well, actually, on that tour. I had my ticket and I couldn't get there. I actually gave it away to someone in the end.
Yeah.
So I'm gutted. I'm delighted that somebody actually got to witness and enjoy and savor the moment, because I'd say it was going to be, I knew it was going to be something special.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm gutted, I'll be honest. But for me, I've seen a lot of music this year. And I suppose Dunk always plays a big part, lads, as you all know. But I think we lost to C's performance this year. Like, I've seen him do Departure songs back in, was it 2017? I've seen him twice more since. And then I saw him on this fourth occasion. And it was the best I've ever seen him. There was an energy about them. There was a love coming from the audience to them. And they reciprocated it back, and it was just an amazing night. They just topped off an amazing weekend. Like, but yeah, we lost to C.
I agree. Towers was just astounding, wasn't it?
Towers was an absolute juggernaut of a track. Like, I mean, we always talk about the big tracks that they play from Departure songs being the big finale, but Towers, I won't say Eclipse, that's too strong, but it just topped them.
They opened with Challenger, and from then it just.
There you go. Like,
I mean, it didn't dip after Challenger, which takes some doing.
But when you see the band though, and when you watch them individually, like, they were so into it, weren't they? They were caught up in the moment. It just all happened at the right time. It's just one of those special shows. So that has to go down for me as my best performance of the year.
Good place to end.
Nice place to end, and please God, we'll be witnessing it all again in May. Absolutely. Right. That's it, guys. That's our show wrapped up for 2023. As we said, 12 fantastic albums released this year. Apologies for mentioning fucking tracks half the night. It's just force a habit. I don't know, can Richie edit them all, but I doubt it. So brace yourselves, lads. Rich Tim, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time. Loved your input. I always look forward to this show. It's a fucking joy to chat with you. It really is.
Feelings mutual.
Yeah.
You still have to mention the sponsors? Or?
I don't. We've actually created a new edit where I've actually pre-recorded that one piece.
Okay.
So thanks. Thanks for the reminder, Tim. I'm that fucking predictable, huh? But I will thank, though, as we're here, I do want to thank Richie Dewey, who does edit and produce all these, and then he had his work cut out with me there during the year with edits and stuff, and yourself, Seth. You weren't perfect either, by the way.
Absolutely right.
Nearly there. So that's it. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in over 2023. I hope you enjoyed the 12 albums we brought to the table. If you haven't heard them, as we fucking say every time, go check it out on Bandcamp. See you all soon. Take care. Happy Christmas. Thanks, lads.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.